welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Hi, my name is Rosie, and thank you so much for taking a moment out of your busy day to spend a few moments with me. So in today's video, we are going to be making a treat caddy to hold all of those little treat holders that we've been making over the past few days. That way we can give one gift that holds all the different little treats. So if you're ready, let's get started. So I've already pre-cut everything here in my little package. If you know me, I'm organized and I keep all of my projects together all in one little bag. So let's get started and let me tell you what we're going to need. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to need is a piece of Kraft cardstock that's 9 by 11. Let's go ahead and do a couple of score marks. So on the 9-inch side, we're going to score at 3 and at 6. Then we're going to turn it to the 11-inch side and we're going to score at 3 and 8. So 3 and 8. Okay. Now let's go ahead just and fold and crease on the score marks. And now what we should have is, we have 3 panels. So if we're looking at it on the 11-inch side, we have 3 panels. We have a shorter one, longer, shorter. And we have that in 3 sections going down as well. On the left and right hand side, we're going to cut on the score mark up to the first score mark. So let me show you how we should be cutting this, and I'll show you what it should look like. Essentially what we're doing is we are just releasing the side tabs so that we can go ahead and make a box shape. Okay, so if we're looking at it now, right, I'm just going to fold these so it's a little bit better here. So we've essentially just released the side tabs. Now we can make our box shape. So let's go ahead. We're going to bring up the middle tab. That's going to be the side. And then we'll just bring up the bottom, align it to the side, and do the same thing with the top. Top, bring up, and we'll do that to both sides. So let's get some adhesive down. Now we need to place adhesive on only one. Let me bring these over so you can see. So right now we have adhesive on the middle panels. We need to add adhesive to only one, and it doesn't really matter which one you can pick. It doesn't make a difference, but you want to do one panel and one panel will be without. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the bottom one because it's facing me. And the reason why we're not doing it to the other panel, because that's going to be the outside of the box. So let me grab my finger blade. Where did I place it? Oh, it's right here. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to move these off to the side here. Let's start off and let's remove the paper backing on one side. Okay. Place these down. Okay, so here's our side, right? In this instance, since I placed my double-sided tape on this panel, we're going to bring that one up just like that and attach to the side. Then we're going to bring up this side here and we're going to bring it up. And now at this point, you just want to make sure that you're making it as even as possible to keep that box shape. So just like that. So I'm trying to make it really uniformed. I'm just going to go ahead, bring in my bone folder to make sure that it's on there well. Let's go ahead now and release the other side. So I'm going to start with the middle. Then I'm going to bring over the side that has the tape to it. I'm going to bring that side over next. And again, I'm trying to keep to the box shape. Okay, and now release those two pieces. Now let's see here. I think I'm going to do it this way. Again, I'm trying to make it as even as possible. Okay, and let's go ahead and use our bone folder. So there is the base for our treat caddy. So let's get rid of all this garbage and let's go on to the next part. Alright, so now it's time to make the handle. There are so many different ways that you can make the handle. I decided on this way only because I want it to be somewhat sturdy, because we have a lot of different little treat holders going inside of it, not to mention the weight of the treats themselves or gifts, however you're doing it. So what you're going to need are 2 pieces of Kraft cardstock that are 6 by 7. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the scoring to both. So on the 6-inch side, we're going to score at 1/2 inch and 5.5. Turn and score at 1.5. And we're going to do that to both sides. So then let's go ahead and we will just fold and crease. We want to add adhesive to the 1.5 inch side on the bottom. All right, so the next thing that we want to do after we've added our adhesive is we need to go down. So let me show you. Here is our longer panel, then we have our 1.5 inch right on both. And then we have our 1/2 inch score marks on both sides. On the longer panel, we want to go down about 2.5 inches and make a cut. So just like this. Okay, so around 2.5 inches down, from here down, make a cut, and then cut that tab all together. And we're going to do that to both panels. So going down about 2.5 and then cut off that tab all together because we don't need it. And then we're going to cut our 2 corner boxes. Okay, now that we have the shape that we want, we have our double-sided tape. Now let's do the exact same thing to the other side. I'm going to go down about 2.5 inches and cut away that tab. Do the same thing to the corner. Okay, so now this is what you have. So the side tabs that we are left with, that's what's going to attach to the inside of our caddy so that it's strong and holds up well. All right, so now what we want to do is let's make sure that we have our adhesive. I'm using score tape, the 1/2 inch, and this is essentially where you want to place it. So I'm basically placing it everywhere along the sides on both sides. Now so let's go ahead now and just put together our pieces. So essentially we are just going to place them one on top of the other, so that once it's placed one on top of the other, you see that we have our double-sided tape there as well as the bottom. Okay, so let's go ahead and just place these two together. Okay, so now I have attached the handle, the 2 pieces for the handle. So what we have left that are free are the 2 sides and the bottom. So now what we want to do is let's go ahead and just line it with our scrapbook paper before we set it in there. It's just going to make it that much more easier. We're going to need 2 pieces for the mat. That's our first layer. That's 4 7/8 by 5 3/8. And then we're going to need decorative scrapbook paper. That's 4 3/4 by 5 1/4. And that should fit really perfectly right inside of both sides. So let's go ahead and just add our adhesive. Okay. All right, now let's do the exact same thing to the other side. For the sake of time, I went ahead and just added my decorative scrapbook paper to my matting so that my videos aren't way too long. I'm still trying to learn how to still give you all of the necessary information, but not have my my videos be so long. And it's just a learning curve for anybody that's new to videotaping, filming as I am. Okay, so now we have both sides of our handle done. Okay, so what you're gonna need are a piece for here and on the opposite side, and so you're gonna need 2 pieces of the matting. That's 4 7/8 by 1 3/8. Add your adhesive and do the same thing on the other side. So there is the liner on both sides. All right, it's time to go ahead and place our handle right inside. So just like this, and this is super sturdy, so that's great. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm just removing my paper backing off of my score tape, getting ready to place it in. So now what I'm going to do, what I found is really helpful, is if you press these 2 in so it doesn't lock, because as soon as the score tape hits the side, it's going to stick and it's going to be a bloody mess. So what I have found helpful, here's a little trick. Hold the 2 side little pieces down until you have the placement of the bottom perfect. Once you do, you can relax and let go. So first I'm going to go ahead and, let's see here. I am going to bring this in. Okay, I'm going to let go just for a second to make sure my bottoms go down. I'm going to let go the side, make sure it looks like it is centered on both sides. Okay, that looks good. Push it down, make sure you're still in the middle, and then just go ahead and press down. Do the same thing to the other side, press down. Just make sure that you're somewhat even, okay? Now let's go ahead and just using your bone folder or whatever you have, just kind of go over it and make sure that it's really on there well. Okay, so now you have a very sturdy caddy. Now certainly you could do something just like this, add scrapbook paper to either side. Now you have 2, and here you can do all sorts of things, which I will show you once I'm done decorating. So you can certainly leave the structure like this and be done, and just cover it with your favorite scrapbook paper. Okay, so for the liner pieces, what you're going to need are 4 pieces that are 1 3/8 by 2 7/8, and that's to add it right here. So we need 4 pieces because we need 2 for this side, 2 for this side, right? And then we're going to need a couple of pieces here, we're going to need 2 pieces that are 4 7/8 by 2 7/8, and that's going to be for the longer side. Oops, let's see here. So for right here on the inside here. So that's what you're going to need. Yeah. So we have those that we need. I'm going to go ahead and add those super quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have added 3 of my 4 sides. So I'm going to go ahead and do that one now. So I am using my favorite reptile glue, as you all know. And I'm just going to slide it right on in. Okay, so now I have my sides all lined. Now I'm going to work on these 2 sides. Okay, so now we have everything lined inside. Doesn't that look pretty? Oh, I think it looks absolutely beautiful. Okay, so now that part is done. Let me see. Did I miss anything for the liner? No. Okay, we're good. Let's go on to the next part. All right, so now for this part, let me bring back in my box. So like I mentioned, you can certainly leave it like this. This is a great little caddy to hold all that little goodness, and you can just decorate it here. But because I want to add a few more little pieces, I'm going to add 2 pockets to this caddy. So one on this side, one on this side. So what we're going to need are 2 pieces of Kraft cardstock that are 9 by 6, and let's go ahead and place it in on the 9-inch side, and we're going to make 4 score marks. We're going to do it at 1.5, 3, 6, and 7.5. Then we're going to turn it, and we're going to score at 3 and at 4.5, and we're going to do that to both pieces. Okay, and now we need to cut away some pieces of this. So I've already, let's see if I can get a good kind of, let's see here, look to it. So you can see that we are cutting away these 3 corner boxes, and we're doing the same thing to this side. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Whenever I'm making a pocket, I kind of think of it as stairs because it looks kind of like stairs. That's what we want. Now for the middle box right here, we need to cut from here to the first score mark. And that's essentially just to release that tab. So I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So we've released those 2 tabs. So let's go ahead, get some folding done, and everything that we just did to this piece, we're going to do to the other piece as well. Okay, so this is what we have, and we've done that to both pieces. So these 2 side tabs, it's what's going to essentially hold it together. So let's go ahead. We're going to bring this up like this. This middle tab here is going to go under the top piece like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. I think, well, let's go ahead and use some glue on this. So I'm just going to add some glue and bring it up. Make sure it's nice and aligned on the sides there so it kind of retains that box shape. Let's go ahead and do the exact same thing to this side. So for the bottom, we're just going to bring up the middle panel and bring over the 2 sides, just like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get that done. I'm going to add lots of glue to either side. Okay, so now we have our box shape, and we know it's going to go on the side. Let's go ahead and just do the other one as well and get these 2 on. Okay, so both of my boxes have been made. Now let's go ahead. You can either attach them now, or you can do your scrapbook paper, and I think I'm going to place my scrapbook paper on first. So let me tell you what we're going to need. Okay, let's go ahead and line our boxes up. So let me go ahead and get a couple of pieces. So for this, what you're going to need are, let me get my glue ready. So what you're going to need for the matting is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and then you need your piece of decorative scrapbook paper. That's 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and you're going to need 2 of each, 1 for each of the boxes, and that's going to go right on the front panel, just like that. Okay, and let's just get our bone folder, scoring tool, whatever you have handy. So there is that. Now what we need to do is we need to line the sides of our boxes, because that's going to show. And what you're going to need for that are 4 pieces, and the mat is 2 7/8 by 1 3/8, and the decorative scrapbook paper is going to be 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. You're going to go ahead and layer and then place it all down on the side, just like that. Okay, and let's just make sure that it's on there really well, and we'll do that to all 4 pieces. So for the bottom, what you need are 2 pieces for the matting. They're 2 7/8 by 1 3/8, and then you're going to need 2 pieces of the decorative scrapbook paper that are 2 3/4 by 1 1/4. And then we'll just layer on the decorative on top of the mat, and then lay it all down on our side box. Let's see, this has a pattern. Okay, and then let's just go ahead and make sure that's done. I'm going to go ahead and do the other box, but so there you have it. Our side box. I'm not worried about this, because this is gonna be adhered to our caddy. So let's go ahead and do the same thing now with this box. Okay, so now we have our side boxes all done. Let's go ahead and now let's go ahead and line the caddy itself, the longer side. So for that, what you're going to need are 2 pieces that are 4 7/8 by 2 7/8. That's for the mat. And then for the decorative scrapbook paper, you need 4 3/4 by 2 3/4. So let's go ahead and get that down. Okay, so now we have the longer sides of our caddy. Let's go ahead and attach our little short boxes on either side. I'm going to go ahead and use score tape for this. And let's just see here. And let's do the other one while we're at it. Love my score tape. When you want your project to make sure that it's sturdy, this is the only tape that I will use, because I have found out the hard way that your tape, your adhesive, can either make or break your project. May sound really kind of like common sense, but honestly, I've spent so much money looking for that cheaper version, only to find out that, hey, you know what? You can't beat the strength of the score tape. All right, so let's go ahead and place these on. So I've got my score tape down, and we're just gonna place it right on the side. Okay, so I've taken my paper backing off. I've already added one. So now I'm just going to line up my corners first, just to make sure that I'm in line. And then I will let it fall, and it should fall perfectly, and it did. Let's go ahead and just make sure that it's on there really well. Okay. All right, and the other side. Okay, so now we have our little caddy. Let's go ahead and just line the inside. That's if you're doing the liner. So let's go ahead and get that started. All right, now let's go ahead and just do the inside liner. So we're going to be working on the sides. So we're going to need 4 altogether. So let's go ahead and get those down. Okay, now that we have our sides done, now let's work on the bottom. So for the bottom, you just need 2 of the exact same sizes. You need 1 3/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, so now we have the sides and the bottom. The last thing that we need to do is just line the side, the longer sides of our side boxes. So for that, what we're going to need are the last few pieces of scrapbook paper. So you're going to need 4 that are 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And we're just going to add it right to the side. So let me push this off to the side for a second and add that in. I know it's hard for you guys to see. Okay, let's add another one. All right, guys, so that is the structure of our caddy. Now, okay, the last thing that we need to do is just line the bottom here. So you're going to need a piece of matting for the bottom. That's 4 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then you're going to need a piece of decorative scrapbook paper. That's 4 3/4 by 2 3/4. We'll layer them up on one on top of the other and then just lay it all down. Let's see, I think my glue is just about had it. I need to place some more in this little bottle. See if I can unclog it. Okay, and then let's just lay it all down to our bottom. All right, guys, so there is our little caddy. Doesn't it look pretty? And this is going to hold all kinds of goodies. So just think about how you can use these 4 sectioned off areas to kind of give your gifts. It doesn't have to be just for treats. It can be gifts. Think of, I don't know, right off the top of my head, earrings, bracelet, socks. You know, there's tons of things that you can use this for. And what a pretty, pretty way to give all those gifts to that person. Change the paper, it's a birthday gift. Change the paper, it's Christmas. Tons of ways that you can do it, and I love to see all kinds of like holders that you can give your gifts. To me, it's not necessarily just the gift that you're giving, but as well the way that you package it up. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take this back and I'm going to go ahead and decorate it, and then I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I've gone ahead and decorated our little treat Caddy. So I've added quite a number of different things. Let me show you the front first. So I just cut out these little sentiments that were in one of my pages. It just had all these words across the 12 by 12. I just cut them out, rounded the corners, and added these two here. I've added some gems. I've done a lot of fussy cutting, and I added some different images, my coffin, my little ghost. I have this lollipop, another ghost, a nice large bat. Here I fussy cut out this cat on the pumpkin and added it onto a rosette that I created. And then underneath it all, I just have some doily just to kind of frame the center. And then for the handle, I just made a couple of holes, added some trim to it, added some gems and a couple of images there. So that's all the decorating that I did, because honestly, all the way around, it's already, because of the paper, it's already pretty decorated. So I just wanted to do the front side. So we've been making an awful lot of treat holders to go in our caddy. So I'm really, really pleased with how quick, one, this was a quick project to do. As well, it really didn't take that much paper at all. So, and it's quick to make, just a little bit of paper. It's not a lot. And you can replicate it to make a lot of them in no time at all. So that's what I look for whenever I'm doing things like this is, you know, for these holidays, you may need to make a few of them. So you want to make it as easy for you to do, something that's going to leave an impact on the recipient and yet be able to hold whatever it is that you want to hold in there. So no matter if it's candy or if it's other gifts that you want to give, this is a perfect little caddy because you have multiple compartments to add things. If you have a little book, you can add a little book in there, gift cards, tons and tons of ideas that you can do with this caddy. Alright guys, well I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you have, guys, thank you so much. Your support goes an awful long way in helping my little channel out. I really appreciate the support. Don't forget, leave me a comment down below and let me know if this is something that you may want to take a stab at. Trust me guys, you guys are gonna love it. And no matter who it is that you're giving it to, they're gonna love it because you took the time to do it specifically for them. Your love and your heart goes into making this project, so it's gonna show. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all about you showing your creativity and showing your love for that person, or how much you admire their friendship, or whatever the situation may be. Guys, you made it. So it's absolutely beautiful, if for no other reason than that. Alright guys, until the next time, stay safe, be kind, and keep it creative.